Hey, Paul.
Hey,
We're
how are
running
you
all
doing?
over the place. Guys, whoever's coming on to speak, we're all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, we're
It's
getting.
starting to a car crash, but it's a great car crash.
What are we like? 3 hours in, 3.5.
Are we? Is that all?
Yeah,
Oh, it's been great.
it's been
No.
awesome.
And Paul, you like this being a social media uh, guru, is we're actually holding the front page of Blab for the last 2 hours. I like
Oh,
that.
wow.
So
Congratulations.
thanks to the guys in Blab. Well, I reached out to them and asked them, so they've helped. To be fair, it's very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. So, Paul, for anybody who doesn't know you, Jeremiah, this is Paul. Paul is a good
Paul.
friend. Paul and
How you
myself
doing,
started
Jeremiah?
this adventure into the online business on the same day. And actually, one of the guys that was on previously, Pat Slattery, it was his event. So we
What?
came and we met
And
at that.
Donna.
And Donna, who'll be on in a bit. There's actually a photograph of the two of us in the crowd. And a year and a half later on the stage, he's traveled the world because he's young and not married with 5 kids like I am. And I'm jealous. Not of the 5 kids. I love my 5 kids, don't get me wrong, but the travel would be nice for a bit. So, Paul, why don't you tell everybody about you?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. So 2009, February, I went to the same event as Anthony, and Pat was very humble not to mention it on the call tonight. But yeah, we were there. I ran to the back. I didn't even come with a credit card, but I ran to the back, very green about this whole online marketing thing. I bought 3 programs, invested 10 grand, planned on taking on the world. And then my favorite hobby, it's probably been mentioned already tonight, but my favorite hobby at the time was close relative of self-development. It's known as shelf developments. Nick was certainly talking about it. You can see the shelf in this room has kind of diminished quite a lot. I don't believe in that so much anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's so corny really what happened, because didn't do much, couldn't pick a niche. That's where I stopped. And I'd had a go at stuff. Couldn't pick a niche. Went to a Tony Robbins event. It was 9 years of my job. Hated the first few minutes of it. Said, "Oh God Almighty, this isn't meant for Irish people." A few hours later, I said, "I might as well. I'm in New York City. Let's just give this a go." Or as Tony said, "Look, you're going to burn if you don't do everything I say." So I said, "Okay, fair enough. It's good enough for me."
Yeah.
So I did say yes. I did all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, man.
Went across the coals. Literally, as soon as I came off the coals, I texted my boss and said, "I'm out. I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to do all this stuff." Believed everything he said. And yeah, it turned out none of it worked. But that's how the journey began.
Hey, it gave you the momentum.
Yes, it gave me
Yeah.
the push that I needed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody do it, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, 3
Everybody,
months later, 3
everybody
months
does
after
do
that-
the shelf development program.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They do.
So 3 months after that, basically the money I'd saved from 9 years of work, I started trading. I lost it all. Mid-July 2009, I was faced with a decision: go back to work, because my boss had kind of kept it open for me, or dust down these online stuff and actually make a go of it. And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to use Twitter, because I heard about this girl who was making 3,000 sterling, so about $5,000 a month from Twitter while having a full-time job. I said, that's it. I'm going to use Twitter. Twitter's my niche. I don't even know if that's allowed. Like, can you choose Twitter as a niche? And within my first week, knowing nothing, I had no course on it, I had 7,000 followers in 7 days. And it kind of kicked on from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it meant nothing. I hadn't made a penny, but I was at the final 3 of the workshops that I had paid for that following weekend. And the news got out that the guy in the crowd had 7,000 followers. That was a big deal. I was literally taken, put up on a stage and said, share your amazing story. As okay, a week ago I had no followers, now I have 7,000. I'm sleeping on my aunt's floor in London. I'm broke. I can't afford a hotel. What more do you want to know? And I said, it's pretty simple. I followed 14,000 people, which means I clicked follow 14,000 times. Like, this is pretty much my strategy. Anyone can do it. And people were like, nah, there's more to it than that. Come on, tell us the real
magic. Yeah, there's the magic.
Exactly. And you know what? We'll pay you for the magic. So just like the weight loss industry, eat less, move more, upsell, drink water. Right? But we spend billions of dollars being told the same thing every year.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, okay, I'll show you. I can write a book about this. I can create a video showing you how to click the same button over and over again. No problem.
Yeah.
So from there, I went from the first night that I tried to sell an affiliate product. I made 2 sales on Twitter, $50. Couldn't believe it. My first thought was, I need to sleep more. I'm making more money sleeping than I am awake. So
that is so
I also
awesome.
couldn't leave your option. Yeah, and
he sleeps 23 and a half hours a day.
Oh God, yeah, I'm really tired after staying up a full hour listening to this. I'm the equivalent. I'm like Jason, but an Irish surfer, so it's tougher for us. We have to go out in like less than 10 degrees Celsius water, which is something I'm sure you wouldn't do. So I went from there. I got a mentor very quickly. Literally after that event, the speaker said, "Look, I don't think you know what you've got here, but I'll show you what you need to do." Within 4 months, I'd made my first $10,000. The next month, I doubled it. The next month, I doubled it again, and then it went nuts. It took off. I started to learn the importance of different things. And Tony said, "Paul, what do you want to talk about?" Because Rahan, the traffic ninja, like I do that stuff with Rahan. I get him to build funnels out for me, do paid traffic campaigns for me.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff Nick talked about, direct mailing. One of my business partners is the biggest direct mailer in the UK. And it might sound confusing and maybe a little bit overwhelming for people. God, do I need to do all these things? God, absolutely not. I started with one, got good at one, and then you're like, you know what? I don't want to be relying on a website I don't own for all of my income. Twitter could close down in the morning. So I said, let's move on to Facebook, then let's move on to YouTube, let's move on to LinkedIn. And you know what the funny thing is? People look at me and ask me on stage these days, they say, Paul, it must have been way easier though back in 2009. It had to be easier. So, it's just, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I had to button 14,000 times to get 7,000 followers. Now you just put in a bid to Twitter and say, get me 7,000 followers in this age. People that live here, whose first name is John, if you want, whose a certain religion, makes certain amount of money, and they just give it to you. It's never been easier. Saying that, it doesn't mean everyone can do it, because nobody can do. It's up to you. You gotta have a reason why, as Nick said. But
I think that's. You mentioned something that really stood out to me there a second ago. With people, oftentimes will say, "Oh, well, it must be nice, or it must have been easier, or it must have been different, or it must have been this." And I think a lot of that is just people are looking for a reason to not do something other than it being their own fault, kind of, if that's a way of saying it. Like, I kind of want to do this and I'm thinking about doing it, but I see that you did it, but it had to have been easier the way you did it. And that way is not available to me now because it happened 5 years ago or something.
Absolutely. And do you know, the funny thing is, like, Jeremiah, is when I was one of the very few people that was in an audience, listened to what the speaker said, and had the novel idea of doing it. Right? I said, you know what? I was so green. I believed it. And you know what?
Yeah.
I had this self-confidence. I believe these guys. I said, whatever they say, I'm just going to do it. They don't look particularly. I hope Matt Basak isn't still listening, but they didn't look particularly, amazingly intelligent or genius at any point. The guy who's in t-shirt and shorts. I said, Christ, I'm going to learn from him. I want to learn what he's doing. And I went to Matt's workshop, and there were guys in that class, friends of yours, Tony, and I remember going up to them asking for help because I'm in no way good technically, as we found. It took me an hour and a quarter to get into this tonight. But, they were so far ahead of me. And the thing is, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know the few things that work. You just need to follow. I see a lot of students that go off and they go off in tangents constantly. I'm like, stop, please stop. You don't need to know what these things mean. And I say, well, let's talk about PLR. What does it stand for? So you don't even need to know what it stands for. You just need to focus on the things that will make you money. And it's funny, I'm talking about webinars tonight, Tony, of all things, because if people ask, hey Jeff, people ask me, Paul, if you had to make 100K by the morning, or somebody you love is going to be killed, I would run a webinar 100% every time.
Wow.
That is what I would do, and that is how. So I said, you know what? If there is a silver bullet or a quick fix, it's definitely webinars. It truly is. So we can talk about that, talk about anything really, but I'm assuming people are here to listen to me talk about webinars tonight.
Well, you can talk about anything. We said so. The thing here. Hi, Jeff. Good to meet you.
You said people that don't look to be smart enough to do this stuff, so I figured that was my cue.
Yep.
So we haven't kind of put out an agenda in this pod because we kind of pick topics and we mix it across. But people get a bit afraid of Jeremiah's gone. He must have gone to the loo. People get a bit afraid of webinars. People get afraid of technology. The couple of things that you said is interesting. Is one, and I would agree with you. An awful lot of people, kind of come and they don't like. It is easy work, but it is work. Like, I was in the kitchen cabinet business. You're lugging cabinets and granite worktops up the floors onto an apartment blocks. Like, that's work. Guys digging out ditches, as I said earlier, is work. So, this is great fun, but there is an element of work, and that's the theme that's come across. But people get a bit afraid of webinars to a degree. People get afraid to go on. People get afraid to even do this, to come on and actually show their face. They're not having the confidence. So what would your advice be to them?
Yeah, fantastic. I'm delighted there. I'm delighted the resident to come on. It makes it all the easier for us. That's the beauty of webinars.
Make yourself like Donald Trump.
That's the beauty of webinars, because it puts a real barrier to entry for most people. So if you just decide, you know what, you do not need to put your face on the webinar. That's what people actually worry about the most. I remember my first webinar. It was with the third partner of Donna and Pat. It was with Gary McKeown, and he put me on a webinar. I remember talking to you, Tony. How do you use this software? And you were like, I don't really know. Just wing it. And I just went on. I was pressing buttons. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so nervous, and I was shaking. And I remember, Tony, you were like, I didn't hear the nerves. And listening back to the recording, nobody hears the nerves, right? They're not. Do you know what? Don't even have a big enough ego to think they're fully listening to you. They're half listening to you at best.
That's true.
So they don't pick up on those things. So you just get their attention. And then out of that, I got my first speaking gig because I made sales. And the thing is, all you need to, if you know how to run a webinar and how to structure a webinar and how to fill a webinar, you don't even need to be on the webinar. And that's the beauty of it. All you need to know is any company owner who has a digital product they can deliver and a database in place. Put the two together, you can be the man in the middle, the woman in the middle, and you could run an epic business just on that topic alone.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is like because we did start on the same day, and I became quite good friends with one of the speakers, and I remember sitting in a train from him, and we were chatting about and he says, and what are you hesitant about? And it's like, is this real? Is this really, like, I can go to a computer and do this and it makes really, and it is just a matter of having the backbone to do it, get up and try it. What's the worst that happen? You fall down. How many times have we fallen down? Loads. You fall over, you make a mistake. And the interesting thing, and it was one of the things that I find fascinating about webinars and all of this thing is, especially if you're talking about content about, is the only person who knows you made a mistake is you, because most other people don't know.
Exactly. That's one of the things that's so cool about doing this live kind of stuff with Periscope, Blab, and Facebook. If you screw up, it becomes an outtake or a blooper, and you can show those, right?
We've had a lot tonight, Jeff.
Well, I'm here to bring some more, guys.
You realize you're naked, Jeff, yeah?
So, Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself for 2 minutes while we're chatting?
Well, sure, I'd be glad to. My name's Jeff Herring, and I help online entrepreneurs unleash, package, and then cash in on their content. And I have this radical notion that content marketing, the whole content thing, is the number one online skill. Because if there wasn't content, we'd have empty screens now and nothing being said, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I teach my students is when you master that skill, you can pretty much do anything you want online with a little bit of work.
That's that 4-letter word again, work.
Well, yeah, and what's scary about that? People talk about retirement all the time, right? Okay, I don't ever plan on retiring.
Me neither.
I've yet to find any spiritual work at all, and I dare anybody to show me any spiritual body of writing or anything that talks about retirement. We're always supposed to contribute and always supposed to give back. I'm a big fan of Florida State because I went there, so they're my favorite football team. And before Bobby Bowden retired, they'd ask him all the time, Coach, when are you going to retire? And his response was, I'm never going to retire. There's only one big event after you retire.
Death.
Yep.
Right? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I was doing research on it. It was only introduced in the 1940s because of chronic unemployment. They had to get until then it didn't exist.
exactly. We made it up, right?
Well, my father's 80, and he says that retirement is actually shouldn't be called retirement. It should be named God's waiting room.
I think they call part of Southwest Florida that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But it just shows you, like, why would you retire? Like, surely you're working on your life's work. It's just a sign that you've been doing the wrong thing your entire life. That now that you have to stop it.
But you've gathered this amazing bank of knowledge, and that's like. If I had a time machine, there's a lot of guys asking, if you had a time machine, you go back, and we're kind of gone slightly off topic, but we'll run down a rabbit hole for 5 minutes. If you could go back and you could tell yourself a couple of pieces of advice, what would they be? And mine going back to myself would be, shut up and listen more, to be honest. You don't have all the answers at 20, 25 or 30. And, the people that are around you is, you have to understand they're coming with their own filters, but there's a lot of knowledge. Like, I was in business with my father. We split up because we couldn't get out. I went out my own, went bust. He came in and helped me He came in and saved my ass, and it was amazing what he learned while I went bust. It was fascinating. It's the old joke and earned. So you do go, but so people at that age, I think they've got so much, and I think the internet is a great place for them to come on to do it and get over the fear of the technology. Because, I think I'd see the difference. I've got 5 kids, right? So I'd see the difference in my kids. My kids will press the button and see what happens. Whereas my father will not press the button in case something happens. And it's a very interesting. I was telling Jeremiah, a quick side joke. I saw a great post up on Facebook, which was father to son, don't you give me grief about using a computer. I taught you how to use a spoon.
I love that one.
Yeah. That's a good one.
My sons, when I ask them about how to do something on my iPhone,
Yeah.
Give me that look like, you're really dumb, aren't you, Dad? So yeah, I love that answer.
It's true though. Like what you're saying about retirement, I feel the same way just inherently. But my father, who's going to be 73 here in a few days, he is enjoying himself more. Like he officially retired from his job, but he is continuing to be a mechanic, and that's what he's done all his life since he was a teenager. And he's loving life. Like he feels productive. He's helping people fix their stuff. He's getting paid to do it, and he takes only the jobs that he wants to do, that he enjoys doing, and he gets to travel and go fishing. Like we live here in Atlanta, so he goes down to Florida all the time, down to Panama City to go fishing. He goes on ATV trips, and he's like, man, I wish I would have done this like back in the 80s when I originally started thinking about doing it. But he's not going to stop. He will not stop unless he physically cannot like crank a wrench. I know it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So Paul, you're here in the Atlanta area?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have to come all the way to Blab to meet.
I know, that's funny, isn't it? Yeah. They're around the corner. Paul, I'm conscious that you were out speaking and at a gig for the day and you're tired. So
I'm okay. I'm cool. I don't mind. Yeah.
Give us your so you said webinar. So give us your 3 tips to crushing it in a webinar.
3 tips to crushing in a webinar.
I like that question because it's awkward.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to use the webinar for. That's one of the. I'll come back to the question, but it does depend what you want it for. Webinar is a multi-vehicle tool, right?
Okay.
You can use it as a free gift. You can use it as an upsell. You can use it as content delivery. You can use it as the content itself that you're going to sell. It's a gift wrapped in so many different ways. That's what I love about it. It's almost essential to have, like, if you're going to be building funnels, you need webinars. How are you going to upsell people unless you have a direct sales team that are going to pick up the phone and do all this difficult work with calling? Just
got across it 1 sec, because it's been mentioned a couple of times. We have some people on that might be new to the word. So when you use the term upsell, would you explain it?
Upsell. So when somebody, for example, would join somebody's database in return for getting a free report or a free video, free software, more than likely, if that person is worth their salt to any degree as a marketer or a salesperson, they're going to say, okay, now you know the slow way of solving that problem. Would you like the shortcut? And I'm going to offer you it's not for everybody here, but I'm going to offer you a shortcut at a particular price. It's usually going to be somewhere between $7 and $47. That's your first upsell. And 10% of people might go for that. And there's always now, and people find it's difficult when they get started. They're like, I'm not keen on selling. I'm like, well, hang on a second. You are a salesperson. So is everybody else here. If you're in a relationship, if you have a job, you've already sold your time. You're a salesperson of your time.
Absolutely.
The worst type of salesperson out there. So why not? Why have you ever wondered why salespeople are so pushy and so motivated? Because as soon as they hit their targets, they can take the rest of the year off. They're the ones laughing at people in jobs, So it's just a mindset shift. But getting slightly off the point there. But that's what the upsell is if you truly feel that you can deliver more value and you know that this person will get massive value out of it, you are obliged to say to that person, hey, I've got an offering that will make this even easier for you. Why don't you come along with me? And the funny thing is, the more you upsell, the less people that buy from you, but the more money you ultimately make because you're providing more value. And as like a leader in a specific area, the reason you charge more is because you are generally delivering more time to that person. They are paying to have more direct personal contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
So they might buy a book for £10. The upsell will be the audio, $10. The upsell, so you understand, will be the audio version where somebody reads it out for $47. The upsell on that is, now I'm going to show you a video description of everything that's in that book for $100. The upsell of that is now you can come to a series of 6 webinars where we discuss the book and actual case studies. The upsell of that is we're going to do a 2-day live workshop. The upsell of that is I'm going to bring you into my 6-month coaching program. The upsell of that is I'm going to put you into my 6-month mentoring program. The upsell of that is I'm going to put you into my 6-month mastermind. The upsell of that is, I don't know.
I was wondering.
Recurring income, right?
You did about 14 there, Paul. You didn't do bad.
Oh, I love upsell. Upsell.
Perfect. So, Jeff, on product creation, your 3 tips on creating a great product?
You mean content creation or product creation?
Content.
They're real close together because in the way I teach content creation, it starts with creating the content, and that gets you 4 really cool things. Okay, it gets you online visibility, right? And content. Let's define that. A lot of people think of that as just articles or blog posts. I'm talking any kind of content. Okay. Which includes articles and blog posts, but audio, video like this, live video, which gets 3 times people watching 3 times longer than recorded video. Anything where you're putting your expertise out there is content. Okay, so that gets you visibility. It drives traffic. It helps you build your list, and it also lets you create products. One of the things my students love is I sort of trick them as I have them create their content, and then tell them at the end, we're going to take that content and turn it into a product. Awesome. You mean I've already been building my product? Well, yeah. Yeah. Nice trick, huh? They usually don't get mad at me about that. And so you like that? Yeah, I like that dollar sign. And so people make the first. I'm going back to 2007 right now, and I'm in my little tiny 700 square foot apartment, and most of the square footage was in the staircase going up to the living area, and I'm listening to a teleseminar back in those days about product creation, right? And they're saying it's going to take a year to create your product and cost $2,000, and I'm laughing because I just created one that weekend, and right then and there I thought, this I don't like this. I don't like how complicated some folks make this stuff. Yep. My whole thing is to follow my buddy Al Einstein, who said everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Mm-hmm. And you can take your content and either gather it, fancy word is aggregate it, or take it and build it up, add more to it. And there are great products in that. You're creating one right now, Anthony. Yeah. You're creating a product right now with this content. And so it doesn't have to be as hard as folks make it.
No, it's an interesting thing that is a lot of people, like everybody, I believe in 3 degrees of separation, right? Because even if you look at what's happened in the last, week or 2 putting this together, it's amazing who knows who and coming together. So even doing interviews and we are going to create a book out of this and put it up to sell for the fund for Dylan. You know, it's automatic, and I kind of think that's where we would think automatic. We'll use the videos, we'll put the whole thing together, and give people access to it forever and a day. And that's the interesting thing. Paul, you put up there that if anyone wants free webinar creation training, just follow me on Twitter and DM me.
Yeah, or anyone that's donated tonight, send me their details. I'll get it to them also.
Excellent.
Awesome. How do we get? Do we have your email or a website so people can send you?
He just told you he's the Twitter king, and you're asking him. He's putting up his Twitter handle, of course. Come on.
I like the way you said that, Tony. Say that again.
What, that he's the Twitter king?
No, he's putting up his Twitter handle.
Yeah, his Twitter handle. Yeah, at Paul Manley.
Say that whole sentence. That was cool. He's putting up his Twitter handle.
Record it.
It's recorded.
I love that. I love it.
Are you taking the mickey of my accent?
That's going to become my new ringtone.
There you go. I like that. I have a Brit in one of the men's groups I run for our church, and we like to get him to say naughty. The way he says naughty is just wonderful. Okay. Good job.
All right, guys. You've been great for coming on. Anything you want to add or throw out there before we kick you off and we move on to the next ones? Because we're flying.
If anybody wants to get 21 blog post and article ideas, absolutely free. This is not even an opt-in. Okay. I'll put the link in there, but it's jeffherring.com/21 ideas-ty. And I'll put that over in the chat for you guys.
Perfect, Jeff. That's brilliant.
I love what you're doing here. I love giving, because I've gotten so much. So I love what you're doing here, and glad to support folks by giving them some cool stuff.
You're a gent, Jeff?
Jeremiah, what part of Atlanta? What part of the great state of Atlanta are you in?
I am in Alpharetta, Georgia.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
How about you? Up 400. We got to connect sometime. Yeah. Okay.
Most certainly. Yeah. Awesome. Where are you?
Just a little bit, almost to Dawsonville in Cumming.
Okay. Yep.
Up near 18, exit 18. Isn't that amazing? All over the world here, and here's two people at 3 exits from each other. I love it. I love it. All
and
right,
that's the reason we're doing it, guys. It's for young Dylan.
I love it.
Thanks,
guys.
I love it.
I'll put that link in the chat, and we'll chat later, guys.
Jeff, you're a gentleman. Take care.
Yeah. So if you want 3 things, but 3 things that everybody's given, Tony and Jeremiah, I'd say, looking back now, number 1, become a marketer. And what I mean by that is, people focus too much on the wrong things. What do I sell? What do people want? And I'm not sure. How am I going to create a product? How am I going to write a book? How am I going to do webinars even, right?
If you
become a marketer, if you focus on becoming a marketer, it doesn't matter what the products are. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. You have the most in-demand skill that is out there currently in business. People always want more leads. You learn that skill, you're on top of your game. That's number 1. Just focus on becoming a great marketer. Yep. Number 2, become really good at paid traffic. Skip everything else. If I had to go back, it's the first thing I would do is I would become an expert.
Amen to that. Amen
I would learn Facebook ads. I would learn Twitter ads. I would learn YouTube ads. I would stay away from Google ads. But I would learn those other 3 and get really good at them, because you will never, ever have a shortage of clients. And the third and final one is only ever promote incredible products. There are so many incredible products out there or in services. Why would you sell anything else? There's no need to sell anything else, and they don't need to be your own, which is the beauty of it.
And
I agree with you 100%, because I have a little picture of a book. I took a paragraph out of a book in 2001. It's probably hard to see here, but 2001, and it says exactly what you said. The real opportunity is in the area of marketing services. By becoming a marketing expert for hire, you will have a steady supply of new clients while gaining experience to expand your own internet business. Now more than ever, the fundamental principles of marketing are desperately needed by millions of newly launched internet businesses. I took that to heart for some reason in 2001 in a little tiny cheap book that I bought. And at that time, I was more of a techie guy, and I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a marketer. There was no AdWords at the time. There was no Facebook. But I said, I'll figure out whatever this marketing thing is, because I kind of believed it, only for one reason. I was working with a customer who I built a bunch of websites for, and every day he would say, how do I get more leads? How do I get more people to these sites? And I said, he's willing to pay somebody if they know how to do that. And that got me the spark to get into this. And I never looked back. I went full throttle since 2001 till today. And it's awesome.
Yeah, look, one of the things I see, and I'll leave it this, I promise. This is the last thing I'm going to say.
Fine. I'm trying to bring
one of the reasons,
hello to you.
One of the big reasons that I see that entrepreneurs fail and 9 out of 10 new businesses fail is something that most business owners don't realize, that they're self-sabotaging, because they get into business generally because they want more time freedom and they want more money and they want more time to do what they want, see the world, travel the world. However, every time they make a sale, they're becoming busier.
Yeah.
So you get too many clients, you get too busy, which means you totally undermine and you go against the values and the reasons you got into it in the first place.
That's a good point.
So it's not really a win. You win, yes, I can afford to eat next month, but I lose in that now I'm committing my time. It's selling time for money. But when you become a marketer, when you make a sale, it's a true win because you make money and you've nothing more to do. Someone else delivers, somebody else is happy. So you've got massive scalability, massive leverage. Doesn't matter what niche it is, and you are not sabotaging yourself. It's the exact opposite.
That's
so
actually
the two of you keep talking for 3 minutes because I'm going to go see somebody.
Okay. No, it's true, because a lot of times I think what people are doing, and I've done it myself, is you create another job for yourself.
Yep.
Now, it might be better than going to work for someone else and sitting in a cubicle if you don't like doing that, which I hated doing. But you end up creating a job for yourself. But through progression, you learn like, well, okay, working here in this home office is better than working in that other office over there where someone's whacking me on the head and complaining because I left 5 minutes early, even though I sold $1 million that month for them or something. All that craziness that goes on in corporate work where you're essentially just locked into their program. And then the downside is, they can get rid of you anytime. So you think, well, I'm going to go create my own internet business, and essentially you create your own job. But then you start thinking, well, okay, I don't want just another job. I need to kind of shift in the second gear. How do I turn this into a real business so that if I want to take a day to go do something enjoyable, or even just take a day off to study and learn and go to a conference or something like that, you have the ability to do what you want to do through systems and things like that. But for me, I was super happy in the beginning just because this job was better than that job. And then I said, well, wait a minute. 9 years goes by. I'm like, okay, maybe I want to shift into another gear now and create a business. So I felt so lucky that I kind of trapped myself into just having a second job, but to each their own, right? But it all depends on what you want, and be focused, like conscious of what you're doing. Don't feel bad that you're creating. I think some people actually feel bad, like if they have a leisurely time sometimes, and they feel like they need to be working all the time because you've worked your entire working life under those circumstances, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I suppose another couple of tips that we could give on that for entrepreneurs that do have their own businesses. Like often when I go in on consults, one of the Pat was talking about it earlier, is that the most difficult thing to do in business is to get the client.
Yeah.
And most entrepreneurs that I see and business owners that you see, they get the client, but they've one offering. So they buy it. Now I got to go get more clients. Yeah. And it's a nice way to ease your way into the I suppose the world of affiliate marketing, because people think of it as this kind of out there thing. And I'm like, hang on, look at any supermarket, right? They sell 99% of other people's products and they're multi-billion-dollar businesses. So, think about what are the add-ons or the side type, hey Donna, the side type of products that you can promote in line with your current business, because I can guarantee you're leaving 80% plus of the potential revenue on the table.
Oh, absolutely. I've consulted with well over 300 companies, and easily, like that easy revenue, like I call it under the mattress money, they're just leaving it on the table. Like I worked with a financial services firm in 2004. They had never done an email to their customer base at that time. All we did was test it, send out a sample. It worked. We hit the button, and well over $1 million came back, which probably more than that should have come back. But everyone was wowed by this $1 million mark. But it was just simple. Like that was found money that they didn't know to even. It was just sitting there, and they didn't go like take it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey Donna.
Donna,
welcome to your first lab.
Just throwing everything off.
I'm going to sign off, guys. See you, Donna.
Bye, Paul.
Paul, you're a gent, bro.
Take care,
Talk to you
guys.
soon, right?
Bye, bye, bye.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Appreciate it this Sunday.
The Marketon is in aid of the Dylan Peters family. Dylan Peters has been battling brain cancer since he was 10 years old. He is now 22 years old and has been... The Marketon is in aid of the Dylan Peters family. Dylan Peters has been battling brain cancer since he was 10 years old. He is now 22 years old and has beaten it 4 times. This 5th time the tumour has taken over. Dylan is a kind-hearted man that would do anything for anyone. The Marketon is in aid of the Dylan Peters family. The Marketon is in aid of the Dylan Peters family. Dylan Peters has been battling brain cancer since he was 10 years old. He is now 22 years old and has beaten it 4 times. This 5th time the tumour has taken over. Dylan is a kind-hearted man that would do anything for anyone. He has been dealt a hard hand of life, but has always made the best of his situation and has always been so strong. His mother Kim has been by his side from the beginning and has recently taken leave from work to be with Dylan. Kim's absence from work has left a deficit in their financial situation, which is the last thing she needs to be worried about at this time. And that is why we would ask you to donate now by clicking on the video or going to gofundme.com/VTWWWYTG and give what you can. Every single penny, every dollar, every $10, every $100 really counts. Thank you for your help.